And we'll call the computer in a minute and you'll get an idea. But the AI agent will get to know you, your habits, your traits, what you're looking for. It'll read all your tests. It'll tell you what to do. And then we'll still have a doctor look at all of that, but it takes out the clinician, the dietitian, the exercise physiologist. It'll build plans for you. You have to do the work, but it takes out a lot of the cost equations.
Wow.
And instead of being a full medical practice, it'll link out to your physician.
Thank you so much for joining us on another awesome episode of Bioenergetics Beat. I'm Heather Gray, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner, and today is brought to you by Nikki, Unleash the Wellness Within. It's a highly effective, non-invasive, easily affordable approach to optimize wellness. It's a wearable device that puts frequency better based life in your hands and on your wrist. You're going to want to make sure to stick to the very end because we have an awesome giveaway that you're not going to want to miss, but you're also not going to want to miss one word out of my next guest's mouth as usual, because we're usually always talking about something fun and cutting edge and stuff that's just, not normally talked about when it comes to health and medicine. And that's, usually where people find the help that they need. So this show is going to be no different. And I really look forward to diving in deeper to longevity myths, because I didn't realize there was very many myths out there. So I'm curious as to what they could be. But without further ado, let's welcome Hunter Simpson. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your last name?
Ziesing. Ziesing.
Ziesing.
Yes.
Ziesing to the show. Yay! Ziesing, what is that?
Swiss German.
Okay, okay. Yeah, not I'm like Hunter Simpson, that's pretty often. Although it was kind of funny because when I was typing it out to make the show notes, I kept writing Hunter Thompson because
Yeah,
you just don't hear that name a whole lot, but he made it very famous.
he sure did.
You don't seem like a Hunter Thompson type.
No, he was a bit of a wacko, but an interesting author.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about you, Mr. Hunter. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, like I said, why we should care, why you're talking about longevity, all the fun stuff.
Sure, thanks. I've always been an athlete. I was a what I like to consider professional cyclist for many years, mostly just a master's bike racer. And I worked for an investment bank in my 20s and 30s and was very successful, made lots of money, probably got overpaid. Um, I was always kind of helping friends find better fitness, and used to run, boot camps in the marina, uh, the San Francisco Marina District with my friends to get them out, exercising and working out. Sadly, my father passed away in his early 60s of pancreatic cancer. I lost 5 friends to various infectious diseases, largely mostly cancer related, but some preventable, or they could have prolonged their health span had they gotten in front of, you know, their um, their health. And then I just had a lot of friends that were just, working too hard and out of shape, and I was balancing my life. So I was trying to help people bring that same balance, and it cost me a lot of money because I retired. I actually left when I turned 40 and started a foundation called the Charity of Choice Foundation, which was a partnership with Livestrong. Remember the yellow bracelets?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Lance, love him or hate him.
I
uh,
was gonna ask you if you knew him, and I was like, you probably get asked that all the time, and so I wasn't even gonna bring that name up. So how funny that here comes
yeah, I
his.
do know Lance. I really like him. He's super charismatic, incredibly driven, incredibly smart. I think you know, he doped more systematically than others because he was good at it. They all doped. He threw a few people under the bus through the
Oh,
whole process and made a few enemies, but I admire him. What he did for cancer survivors, which was amazing. That's what he should be known for. So anyway, Lance did a lot of things for cancer survivors because there weren't the tools or the resources really available for people that had cancer as to where to go for treatment, diagnostics, and whatnot, other than what they were getting from their physician. And we see the same today with the healthcare system. People want to be healthy, but they lack the tools and the motivation and the know-how to sort of follow up a proper regimen. So anyway, Charity of Choice Foundation, we raise money for cancer research centers affiliated with Livestrong. I did that for 12 years, and then I went to work for a startup, which is a really cool company called Paceline. Paceline is a company that you wear a wristwatch, an Apple Watch, a Garmin, or a Fitbit, and it would track your heart rate. And each week you elevated your heart rate to 150 minutes of elevated exercise, we would give you a reward. As little as $1 Amazon gift card. And what was interesting by that, what we discovered by that, it wasn't just a financial motivation for people to get healthy and exercise. And by the way, the World Health Organization recommends 150 minutes of elevated heart rate each week. And I ride 5, 10 hours a week when I'm training, but when I'm not, I'm sitting at my desk. And I was wearing, I was using the app, and it would be Sunday afternoon, and I'd be at 140 minutes, and I wanted to get my reward. And I would literally go outside and walk the dog, right? Just to get my heart rate up. And I guess what I got out of that was we proved that people will work around social determinants of health as well as some financial motivation to exercise. So during that whole phase, I was studying data and was always sort of upset with the healthcare system not providing the tools and the resources that people need. So I left there and I started a company called Longevity Health with my partner Jesse Levy. He's the CEO and co-founder, and we built a high-end medical clinic that does a whole lot of testing. It's a HIPAA compliant full medical practice. It's very expensive, but it's so far off to a great start, and we've had some incredible clinical outcomes. And we can get into it. We're developing an AI product to take it out to the masses so everybody can afford this.
Wow. I love how you just put it out there too, like very nonchalantly. You're like, it's very expensive. I feel like it's good to have that disclaimer out there. When I was getting over 27 years of Lyme disease, detoxing from mold, reversing through autoimmune diseases, I've easily spent over $70,000, on my
Mhm.
own health journey to get better. And, unfortunately, I had to go bankrupt, once or twice to do it, but it was worth it. And I would do it again in a heartbeat because now here I am with a level of health and vitality that I, didn't even know existed.
Yeah, good for you. Well, our program, like I said, it's if you go to a bricks and mortar concierge service, they cost 20 to $30,000. Or you can go see Peter Attia. I don't know if you've read his book, Outlive. It's an incredible book about longevity. He has a clinic that he charges $200,000 for to get into, which is incredibly comprehensive. Ours is $11,000 a year. We do 6 tests, including a DEXA scan, which is bone density and visceral fat. I recommend anyone over the age 40, particularly women, get one, not wait until you're 60. We do comprehensive blood work, a VO2 max test. Sounds very athletic, but a VO2 is a very good indicator of longevity. We do a gut biome test, and we give everybody a CGM, constant glucose monitor, whether you're heavy or not. We give it to people for 2 weeks to a month, and then we do a sleep study. And then if there's additional things that people want to layer in, such as genomics, DNA, RNA, cancer screening, we can order those tests as well. But the 11,000 covers all of those tests. Then we give you an executive medical board, including a physician, a clinician, an exercise physiologist, and a dietitian. And importantly, we help people develop a plan. It's not just go get all these tests and find out what's wrong with you. It's go get all these tests and figure out where you might have some red flags and what is it you want to achieve in your life? What's bothering you? What's in your family history? What do you want to change? Then we develop a plan. And for younger people on the show, everybody has Slack channels. We give everybody a Slack channel where you can communicate with your physician and your clinicians 24 hours a day, kind of like you might with, UCSF medicine or the Mayo Clinic if you're part of that. But, you usually get a doctor that comes back to you 24 hours later and gives you an RX. So we do a lot of hand holding and coaching. We've done that for a year and a half. It's been very successful. We've had great clinical outcomes. I myself have gone through the program, found a few red flags that I'm addressing, such as testosterone, vitamin D deficiency, and one or two other small things, which I never thought I would have because I've been an athlete and I'm healthy. So that's been helpful to me. And I'm also changing my exercise regimen from riding 10 hours a week to spending more time in the gym, which I don't like, but an hour and a half a week in the gym lifting some weights. So
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I love that you're a data guy. I'm a data gal too, because you can't deny it. Like once it's in your face and a lot of these wearables and stuff out there, like that's what helped me get diagnosed with sleep apnea. Like I had no idea that that was going on because I've never been told I snore. And, I never had like these kind of typical issues that you would think with somebody with sleep apnea. And sure enough, like it was pretty bad. So I love where we're going with medicine these days. And I don't know a lot about the longevity world because I had spent so long in just survival, right? Trying to
Right.
overcome all these things to where now I'm turning the corner and being like, okay, I want to look into longevity. I want to learn, so I just love this conversation. I love what you're doing. Where's it located?
So we're online.
Oh, the whole everything.
Yep. Right now we're in New York, California, Florida, and Connecticut. Eventually we'll be in all 50 states
Wow.
um, when we expand our medical practice. And then we partner with leading testing centers around the country, like LabCorp, Quest Diagnostics, Dexcom, which is the company that provides the CGM that we use.
Okay.
And
Now, when things get bigger, is there any chance that, the cost will kind of come down to where more people will be able to afford this, or how does that work?
so that's a great question. We just launched a beta this week of an AI agent, which I'd love to share with you. We can call it, and all of my records are on AWS secure server with our partner called Healthy, which is sort of like Epic, which has your health records. But you can download and bring in any record, any tests that you've had done. We've been using it for the last year for our billionaire bundle patients, the $11,000 patient. But now you can talk to an AI engine. It'll read the tests in your file and make recommendations. Fast forward down the road, we think eventually AI will replace your primary doctor. It'll even prescribe medicine and order tests. The US is not ready for it yet from a regulatory standpoint. And as much as everybody think AI is going to solve everything in healthcare, it's a bit of a slow roll because aside from the regulatory issues, consumers aren't fully ready for an AI only doctor. It's kind of like a driverless car. In San Francisco, everybody sees Waymo. We use them. I feel safer around a driverless car, but I know driverless cars. You go to Minneapolis, when they introduce Waymo there, people are going to run for the curb when they see a car. So it's a very good analogy. People aren't quite ready to trust AI. And third, AI makes mistakes. It hallucinates. It's way better than Google was 20 years ago when you would put something in about your sleep apnea and it would give you all the reasons you're going to die from it, right? Now, ChatGPT is incredible. In fact, not to dissuade people from using our service, but you can do a lot of this yourself in ChatGPT. You can load in your blood tests and all your sleep data, and it'll give you recommendations. What we're trying to do is build. Did you see the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
It was about 20 years ago. It was about
Uh,
he falls in love with a computer. He talks with the
oh.
computer, and we'll call the computer in a minute, and you'll get an idea. But the AI agent will get to know you, your habits, your traits, what you're looking for. It'll read all your tests. It'll tell you what to do. And then we'll still have a doctor look at all of that, but it takes out the clinician, the dietitian, the exercise physiologist. It'll build plans for you. You have to do the work, but it takes out a lot of the cost equation. So our next phase is, between $100 and $200 a month for a product like that. And then way down the road, when AI replaces your primary physician, it's going to be $10 a month and hopefully
Wow.
a billion people on the planet. And instead of being a full medical practice, it'll link out to your physician. So when your check engine light comes on and it says, Heather, you haven't been sleeping well, you're at risk of this, you should go see a specialist. And the AI can actually book you an appointment. And then, so yeah.
I love it. I've spent many hours chatting with ChatGPT and just having my mind blown of what it's figuring out from the labs that I've given it, having it write copy for me for the past couple of years. So it's learning my voice. Like it's quite ridiculous. And I worked for a cancer doctor who would do the same thing. She'd have a 80-page DNA report that we would upload through ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a summary and give me the recommended supplements and recommended lifestyle and mindset changes, and condense it down to 4 pages because nobody's going to read an 80-page report, besides someone like me because I'm a dork.
Yeah.
But so it's been fascinating working with AI in the health field.
Yeah, let's call it real quick. And
Yeah, go ahead.
it's a 60-second demo. And then I'll tell you, we can talk a little bit about the myths that's going on in longevity. So remember, all my records are sitting on a server. I'm just going to ask it. I've got a blood test, a VO2. I got a whole bunch of stuff in there. I'll just ask it about, I'll ask it about my VO2 max. It'll hopefully make me feel good for my age, but I'll call it and I'll introduce you as well.
Hello, this is Jesse from Longevity Health. How have things been going for you?
Pretty good. I'd like to introduce you to Heather from Biogenics Beat. I'm doing a call with her right now, and anyway, great woman. She's super in charge with health, and we're doing a podcast together. Could you just share with me quickly my VO2 max results and any recommendations on how I might get it to higher levels?
Hey there, it sounds like you're in good company with Heather from Biogenics. Your VO2 max is currently at 45.4 milliliters per kilogram per minute, which is solid for your age. To boost it even further, incorporating interval training could be a game changer. High intensity cycling or running sessions where you alternate between intense bursts and recovery periods can really help push those numbers
Sounds great.
down to you.
That sounds great. Could you send me a plan as to how to do that? You know, how many intervals per week?
Absolutely, I can guide you on that. For a start, you might want to aim for 2 to 3 interval sessions per week. Each session could include.
So I'm hanging up, but I'll get a
Right.
text and an email with the plan asked for.
What is so crazy is how
Isn't that
human-like
cool?
it sounds. You know, we've gone away from these kind of robot sounding, you know, voices that it's
Yeah.
just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. All right, so this is a great spot. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to dive deeper into the myths, because what myths are there in longevity? So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
There's a new word for wellness, Nikki. Nikki is your personal wellness companion, a sleek, wearable device that lets you choose from a variety of programs to match your day. With a simple tap on the Nikki screen, you can explore wellness programs created for different moments and lifestyles. Need a lift? Select energy. Looking to unwind? Tap stress and anxiety. Want to feel more at ease? Choose pain. Heading out on a trip? Try travel to help you feel ready for new adventures. From busy mornings to quiet evenings, Nikki puts a variety of wellness experiences right at your fingertips and on your wrist. Life moves fast. Nikki moves with you. It's a portable way to bring wellness technology into your everyday routine, wherever life takes you. Your day, your choice, your wellness program. Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health. We are Nikki.com.
Fantastic. Welcome back. Well, if this first part of the, podcast didn't spark your interest, you're dead, right? Because I love geeking out on this type of stuff and how we can biohack and, all of it. Although I always say that you can't, all the fun biohacking tools do you no good if you don't put in the foundations first, which is, I think you probably cover a lot that with the people that you work with as well, because there is no pass and go, there's no collecting $200 if you've got a crappy foundation. But I want to talk about some of the longevity myths, so drop some on us.
Sure. Well, there's three problems. Too much advice, conflicted guidance, and lack of medical support. So I'm sure you've been reading about all of the recommendations and interventions out there, from hypobaric oxygen chambers to blood tests to gut biome tests, a lot of the things that we do, to DNA, RNA. And unfortunately, a lot of these services are trying to garner you as a customer with a single product solution, such as a blood test. And there's a lot you can get from a blood test. I don't want to take away from a blood test, but they largely want to acquire you as a consumer and then upsell you on tests and supplements and drugs. Seems to be their objective. And then lastly, there's just a lack of medical support. I mean, if you go into your physician with all these tests that you've had done and you ask your physician to analyze those tests, it's kind of like walking into a ski shop with your boots, your bindings, and your skis brand new, and your jacket that you bought at Amazon, right? And saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Ski Shop, could you mount my bindings? Here's 75 bucks. Oh, by the way, the buckle on my boot is broken and the zipper on my jacket isn't zipping up properly. Can you fix it for me, right? And they're going to F you, like we didn't order this stuff. Physicians don't get paid largely for a lot of these functional medicine tests. So that's going to take some time. So
Mhm.
that's the third problem. The medical industry is not fully supporting it yet. And I think it's doing a lot of disservice in society because with these functional medicine tests properly analyzed and done longitudinally based on what's right for Heather, not for Hunter. Some of the tests that you're going to get are going to be much different than mine. Some of the data, your family history, what's going on in your life, your objectives is way different. So AI and our physicians, like I said, we have these 6 tests now for our billionaire bundle, but you might only need a DEXA scan and a blood test, right? But most of it is not reimbursed by insurance, and it is not ordered by physicians. But I think that's going to change.
Well, that's incredible. No, and you were talking about the conflicting information. The struggle is real. I remember when I first graduated back in 2013 from FDN, I quit after about 6 months because I just couldn't get past all the conflicting information. Eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for you.
Right.
It was maddening. And then trying to then walk somebody else down this path as they're, looking at getting conflicting information. And it was maddening, and I actually kind of took a step back and out of the health field for a couple of years until I came back because I was just like, I didn't know quite how to deal with all the conflicting information. So what are you finding out there?
I'm finding the same thing, and that's what our objective is to build something that has a high level of specificity. I can never pronounce that word.
I was just gonna say that 10 times fast.
So that when your first call when you go see a physician is you're talking about yourself. And AI can do a better job at it. So like Heather has a conversation with the AI agent that figures out, like I said, everything that's going on in your life, not what latest supplement is good for you. You ever walk into a GN general nutrition store, there's walls and walls of pills, and every manufacturer wants to sell you their pills. Hey, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. It's, whatever's trending, but it's really important to figure out what's right for your biological makeup. And to do that, you have to have some tests. And the tests that you should, and there's literally hundreds of tests. There's new ones coming around all the time, right? So you really have to figure out what's right for you. And I think if we do that, health plans, self-insured corporations, and we're about to beta test one right now, the HSA plans, health savings account, will largely pay for the test because we can go and say, listen, this is what's right for Heather. And by the way, your employer will never see your data. Only you and I will, right? Or ChatGPT, but it's secure. They'll never see your data. So you don't have to worry about security or your records getting out there. But if we can say what's right for each particular employee, we hope that insurers and employers will start to pay for these tests.
Absolutely. Well, I remember when too, in the beginning, you said that, AI makes mistakes, but I mean, medical mistakes are still kind of one of the top leading causes of death in the United States. So, human error, AI error, like, how do you compare that?
Well, maybe someday AI will be better than all of us, better than physicians. But and there's always going to be mistakes, procedural mistakes on the operating table, whatnot. But we hope that technology can sort of bring that delta down a little bit between error and non-error. Um, but I think for the foreseeable future, there's going to be a human in the loop. Um, and
Kind of
like I said,
foreseen.
when your check engine light goes on and says you need a procedure, chances are it's going to be right. I'll give you an example. I just went to see, I've been paying for college tuition and weddings for the last 10 years. So I finally decided to do something about my own health. And I'm going through our program. And I determined I needed to go see an allergist. I've had horrible allergies my whole life. I finally decided to go do something about it. It took me 6 weeks to get the appointment. I went in, I went through 20 minutes of intake, sat around for another 20 minutes. Finally, the doctor came out and they said, you need a skin test. And I had already gone on ChatGPT and put in my whole history. I knew exactly what I needed. I knew exactly the blood tests that I needed, and it was exactly right. And the physician and the clinic said, you have to come back in 6 weeks. I'm like, why? Well, our insurance company won't cover you unless you come back for a second appointment. Just annoying. So not only did I know everything, but I had to wait and come back.
Yeah, no, I went through something similar with my deviated septum surgery, and they're like, well, for the insurance purposes, you have to use this spray for 6 weeks and then come back. And if you haven't improved, then we'll do the surgery. And I'm like, and he's like, and not once ever has a true deviated septum been healed by this, spray. Like mine was, it's a physical thing.
Right.
So it was kind of crazy. And it's always, especially being from the Lyme world, it's always bothered me how the freaking insurance companies rule and oversee how doctors do their job. And I just don't see
Yeah.
how that's ethically okay. Like I still can't wrap my brain around that.
Speaking of Lyme, I summered and grew up on Nantucket Island. It's the
Mm.
Lyme capital of the world.
Right, right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so we're getting ready towards the end here. So is there any kind of last little nuggets you want to drop on folks?
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in joining our beta, this is the AI doctor that I just showed you, but with human in the loop. They can reach out to us through longevityhealth.me. And I can also send you some links. The pricing is going to range from $100 to $300. Everyone will come with a physician, human in the loop. The difference in pricing will depend on the level of tests that you order. So I think the entry price will be $79 a month.
Mm,
So
that's
I'd love for
incredible.
people to join that program. We don't have a ton of spots, but if this is successful, then we'll roll out further additions.
You mean when this is successful?
I think it will be, yeah.
I'm like,
If
not
anybody,
if.
same thing if anyone is interested in we call it the billionaire bundle. And I know billionaire is a bad word. That's the
I
11th.
was just gonna say, I'm like, why? Because every time you said it, I like get a visceral response to it, and I was thinking, why on earth did he choose that word? So thank you for actually saying that. So could you tell us a little bit about your mindset
It's
behind that?
just it's to imply what a billionaire would get, because billionaires are spending tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, on personal longevity clinics. So actually, our $11,000 clinic is remarkable. It's probably underpriced um, compared to bricks and mortar clinics and the level of service we provide. I'd highly recommend it, but it's not affordable for everybody. So we want to keep the price down, not just to get more patients, but we want to use this as a lab to really understand what we're doing for our patients and patient outcomes, so we can scale it into um, a bigger business for the masses. And then the other thing I want to say too is I think longevity is a bit of a mislabeled term. It's really about health span. That's kind of what we're after here. And my sort of uh, my legacy hopefully is to help use a platform like this to change the nature of preventive health in society, because people are way behind the curve when it comes to health issues. And just from a cost perspective, you've seen what's going on in Washington. I think we're still shut down right now over Medicare. The end of life care in America alone is something like $4 trillion a year. And I've seen estimates that could be cut in half if people had better health span. You might not live longer, but you'll die quicker.
No, absolutely. And so many smartasses out there, especially when I was trying to help them with, changing lifestyle, changing mindset. They wanted the the fix, right? The pill, something. And they're like, ah, I'll, die, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, the last 10, 15 years of your life could be absolutely miserable. You'd be a
Exactly.
burden on society, you'd be a burden on your family and your friends. Like, were you selfish? Yeah. So, yeah,
Hey, let
I
me
feel you
ask you a
there.
question before you go. What are your thoughts on Ozempic, GLP-1s?
So, microdosing from a compounded pharmacy, I'm a huge fan of. I've actually lost 50 pounds over the past year using microdosed GLP-1s. They help with inflammation, they can be neuroprotective. I'm not a fan of the brand name. I'm not a fan of starting off using such big doses of hormones in people right off the bat. You're going to get a lot of side effects.
Yeah.
But when you compound it, microdose it, start off low and slow, it's a completely different animal. So I'm a fan. I you know
I
I
first
had go ahead.
I was to say, when it first came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, another pill, right?
Right, right,
You
right.
know, you're depressed, you go to a psychiatrist, they want to give you pills. Everybody wants a pill. But so far, it's been unbelievable. Now, you
Yeah.
still need diet and exercise.
Well, that's
they
what I
still
was
need.
going to say. I am the person who was walking their talk and was not able to lose the weight. I had come into 3 different mold exposures, each time gaining around 20 pounds, and I couldn't get it off no matter what I did. And so no, I'm not a fan. They were talking about having 8-year-olds on it, and I'm like, absolutely not. That's bullshit. Start off by teaching lifestyle and stuff like that first, and then as a last resort, if people aren't able, they've done all these things and then they can't lose the
Yeah,
weight, because obesity is a serious health problem, and it needs
yeah.
to be addressed.
Well,
But for
yeah.
me, I just metabolically was not fit from all the years of Lyme disease and then the mold toxicity, and it just, I was not able to lose the weight. So thank God
Good for
I,
you.
yeah, that I did it.
Lastly, what's amazing is the younger generation, people in their 20s and 30s, are really into this kind of stuff.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I
Because
think the next generation gets it. Now I'm in California and everybody's, on a bike and
well, I came from Colorado, and so right up there with,
yeah.
healthy, and it's been different living in Mexico. Sometimes the food is a little bit cleaner here,
Yeah.
but still the obesity and the diabetes rate, and I'm looking around going, oh my gosh, this is
Same
just so
problem.
sad.
Well, anyway, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Hunter. It's been awesome. Okay, so tell us again where people can find you.
Sure. The website is longevityhealth.me.
Awesome. Also, make sure to go to wearenikki.com/podcast, enter in BioBeats to get 10% off. And because we really love our customers, the way we show appreciation is we want to give away a Nikki device plus a wellness suite of frequencies. It's a $598 value. We give one away for free on every episode. So make sure to go check out Hunter's show notes so that you can find out more about his program and also how to enter in our big giveaway. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to get this word far and wide. Thanks again. Have a healthy day.
Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health.
It looks like a little watch, but it's actually a frequency device. It's bioenergetic, so it has this little frequency light situation that goes into your arm.
This is my Nikki. It is a bioenergetic wearable that works by emitting a specific frequency carried by a red light, as you can see on the back. It's aimed at enhancing the body's natural healing process to improve wellness and reducing stress, pain, and inflammation. And to select a frequency, you tap it to wake it up, and then you slide to the screens that list the different frequencies. I have wellness or Lyme on mine. So if we want to pick one, we just tap on it, and you'll see the circles around, and there's a play button, play areas, tap there, and you can see the colors radiating that show that it's playing, and you would also see the red light on the back. And to stop, you just tap it again, and then you can slide and select a different frequency. I'm going to play afternoon. And you just tap, and away you go for your afternoon.
So they're 2 different things. You have the Nikki device, and then you have the frequency sets. And so right now they have the wellness set of frequencies and they have the Lyme set of frequencies, and both of them are absolutely incredible. I use both sets on a regular basis, so I absolutely love them.
Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health. wearenikki.com. The views, information, and opinions expressed in this content are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Freemedica. Freemedica Technologies, Inc. and its employees are not responsible, nor verifies accuracy any of the information contained in the following content. The primary purpose of this content is to educate and inform. This content does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.